Hi, this is John. I'm here doing a free reading for one of the giveaway winners from last week's little giveaway on Rainbow Harmony's channel, where people who commented and just asked for it could get a free reading. Just to give you an idea of what this is like in general. So I'm making it anonymous, so obviously if this is the one that I made for you, I'm not going to tell any personal information. So that way, if anybody else is in a very similar situation, they can kind of use the same reading. And hopefully, if you're watching this, you get something out of it. So first things first, this person was asking about one person at work and one person that they're with. They're kind of caught in between this situation, looking at what their options are. One of these people is not doing very well. They're kind of down, so kind of needy and clingy. This might be a situation for anybody else who's watching where you know someone in your life that you're in a relationship with, where you are having trouble kind of getting free. They can't seem to be independent. They're very, dependent. They're dependent on you. I don't know if that's financial or not, but I'm going to go ahead and dig into that one first, just to kind of see where they're at, and that might really help me figure out. So I'm going to reverse half the deck, and we'll see what we get. I don't normally reverse, but in this situation it really helps me kind of get a little bit more clarity. Oh, that one wants to come out. Okay, upside down, I guess. Let's see. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay, yeah. Okay, so, I feel like something about this person is that they don't recognize, the board really talks about how, sorry, I'm changing sides here, so the mic should be a little bit better. If you guys haven't been hearing it, sorry about that. The board talks a lot about how, well, there's a story behind it. Basically, there's a warrior who lies, and in the tribe, that's really, really big no-no. Nobody lies. And so in order to kind of like make up for it, they have to fight a wild boar the next day. And during the night, the warrior has a dream. And in the dream, the boar comes to him. And basically, the spirit says, like, until you confront the wild beast that's within you, basically, it'll be too hard for you. If you can confront the wild beast, then you won't have any fears left, and you'll succeed. So the fact that this is reversed to me says this person may not be recognizing the kind of fear that they're actually attaching to. And in a very practical or like 3D sense, in the ego, this comes down to someone who may not actually recognize that they're attaching to thoughts. For someone who's kind of waking up to their ego and waking up to the conscious process and waking up to kind of like their fears and breaking free of the mind prison, they'll be going through the situation where they start recognizing that they're actually hanging on to ideas and thoughts that aren't helping them. They're actually hurting them. It's putting them down. It's keeping them depressed or keeping them sad. And so I feel like this person is really having a hard time recognizing that what's going on in their head are just thoughts. And that's really hard to really distance yourself from, especially when you're actually having deep feelings that go along with them, because these thoughts, when you attach with them, can be very dark. Like for instance, it's like a dark like a dark thought that just pops in your head, and we all get them. I'm not saying like everybody should be perfect, and that it's so easy to just detach from your thoughts, and this is a difficult process, and not everybody is able to make it through, especially people who have had a very, very difficult background, either being raised by somebody who is abusive or having to get out of a lot of very difficult, like either financial strife or relationship strife. I feel like this person is just having a really tough time right now, and so as a result, they're not recognizing that they're hanging on to lots of fears, that it's putting them in these emotionally dark places, and having them feel like, literally, they might feel like they're being forced to behave certain ways, or like they just can't change, like they can't seem to snap out of it, like they're having panic attacks or anxiety. And in this situation, this person that you're with, until they recognize that that is where it's coming from, that it's just thoughts, that they don't have to attach to them, that the feelings that come up with them are real, not to like say like, oh, you're not actually feeling sad, or you're not actually feeling depressed. Yes, they are. And it's a matter of fact that like the reason that they're having those feelings is so that they can actually confront them. But when they don't confront them, it's going to cause them to be in a place that's very dark. They're going to lie. They might be cheating or stealing. And as a result, it's just really not good energy to be around. The mountain line really talks about really understanding your domain, understanding your territory, feeling confident in who you are. A lot of times this comes up for people who have a really great kind of like a business plan when it's upright. And so I feel like what this is this person is feeling a lack of power. They're feeling like they don't really feel in control of their circumstances, of their environment. And that's the thing, when you recognize the truth about how this all works, how this experience works, what goes on in your head really changes the kind of opportunities that you recognize in your outside world. When you work on your inside world, you are able to actually recognize more and more opportunities because you're open. You're just open. And when this is upside down, I feel like this is just, it's like it's taking you out of your zone, your mojo, I guess you could say too. Like they lost it, you know what I mean? And the horse to me says there's no vision. When you're in a dark place, when you feel disconnected from your spirit, from your path, it can really leave you without a vision. So I feel like all the cards that have come out here on the upside down, this person is really going through a dark time. So I'm going to pull some other cards here and just see if there's any suggestions of what to do about it, maybe how to handle it. I don't know if this person who's requested this reading has already made a plan or not of what to do. So we'll just see what they say. I love this Palo Santo, by the way. It smells so good. Okay. What to do about it? Okay. Let me see. Sorry about the camera. Yeah, I do see that this is probably the best time to really consider separate paths. Cards are saying here that loyalties are in question, that these issues of loyalties may divide the path ahead. There's an issue here of friendship and love. One of the difficult things, especially in separations with people who are in relationships with someone who's not waking up, or not in the process of waking up, or not interested in the process of waking up, The difficulty here is recognizing that you feel some kind of obligation to this person. You don't want to leave them for dead, so to speak. And the difficulty here is really not to throw them away, but to actually just make a distinction. Recognize that this person is in your life for a reason. Sometimes they're karmic relationships, sometimes they're not. And the only way to find out is to do your best to bring this option into their awareness and to tell them, I really, really do think of you as a friend. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to ruin your life. It's not my intention to do this. But I do believe that it's time for this romantic side of this relationship to maybe transfer, or like to take that energy that we have there and to move it into a relationship that's based on friendship, so that we can both have a more fulfilling life. And that's a really difficult conversation to have. Not everybody can really handle it. I think based on what the card is saying, that this person may be very difficult to have this conversation with. I recommend a lot of caution. People who are in very, very dark places, you may not be able to expect a lot of, I don't want to say this in a bad way, it might be difficult to have conversations about these deeper kind of subjects, because they're going to automatically jump to the fact that you're taking something away from them, that you're leaving them, that you say these mean things, that you're accusing them of something, and that's going to put them into a defensive mode, and it's going to keep them from really thinking about where the relationship can go. They're not thinking about the possibilities, they're thinking about the consequences. So be really careful about this conversation. This card is here to really suggest that, here, I'll pull it up for you. This card is here to really suggest that if you are going to have this conversation, you really need to conjure and to really bring into the conversation the idea of imagining and visualizing the outcome that you want to happen. And inside the conversation, when it actually takes place, to maybe bring that up with this other person, to maybe talk about how they visualize this separation taking place. What would make them feel like this is a mutual agreement. And this may or may not work with them. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. Not all conversations when it comes to separations work out that great. You can do your best, honestly. But I would suggest, as a result of the stuff that's coming out here, that you exercise extreme caution. I would say if you have any possessions, if you have anything that you're dependent on this person for, any kind of connections, any friendships that you're worried about, that you preventatively try and protect them. You don't want to be put in a situation where, as a result of your lack of preparation for this conversation, that they move quickly and aggressively and do some nasty things. If that's the case, I'm saying just in general, be prepared for that. I wouldn't try to do this like pull the rug out from under their feet kind of thing. That would be just causing even more karmic debt and would draw you into more conflict with this person, and you want to cut clean. You don't want to drag this out. So my best recommendations, especially for anybody else who's listening, when you're in a karmic relationship, you want to give as much as you can so that you can cut clean from this person. The more arguments, the more things you take from them, even when you know that you're right, even when you know they don't deserve it, especially in karmic relationships when they're in a dark place, you just honestly, when it comes to a point that you guys are just like can't seem to agree on, just give it up. You don't want to create more karmic debt, more entanglement in this relationship when you really do need to just cut clean and move on. And this, like I said, it really depends on how these conversations pans out. Some people handle it very well, some people don't. It's complicated. It's you know, I'd love to say the cards can answer and tell you exactly how it's going to go, but honestly, they tell me about probabilities. A lot of times there's 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 options or different kinds of alignments that are currently kind of meddling with each other, and those are what I can really pick up on. And anything past that, it just starts to be more about like what's likely and what's not likely, and that really comes down to you, maybe the external environments and circumstances, like say property or possessions or entanglements with friends and relationships that you have together, and then also on that person. Obviously it really, really depends on how that person is able to handle what's going on in their life, and the fact that you're having to do what you have to do. So my next question that this person asked was about somebody at work that they are interested in. They're saying this person is awesome. They're a really awesome person. In fact, they're so awesome that there are other people at work that are also interested in them. They do have this feeling though that there's like some deep kind of connection. So I'm gonna pull some cards, but I'm gonna flip this back up and start over again. And by the way, the reason I say to exercise extreme caution when you're separating from someone that you think you're in a karmic relationship with is because when people are in a very, very dark place, there is so much fear involved in the situation, that, and the fact that they are attaching to those fears in a very strong way means that you may see the energy shift in this relationship in like just like lightning fast, like literally so fast. All of a sudden, they will be bitter, and just you'll have a lot more anger, sadness, and depression. You know, and all of it comes out of sadness and depression. They feel the loss of you, and especially if they're very dependent on you, that loss is going to trigger them and to bring up a lot of old history for them that they may be trying to deal with but aren't able to deal with because of where they're at. This isn't a judgment on people who have difficulty with that. It's just to say that, like, just recognize that depending on where this person is at, depending on what they've been through, there's no way of knowing how dark their past may have been. They may still be working on it. They're not a bad person. They're just kind of like, it's kind of like saying that they're having a difficulty really seeing other people because their problems are so big right now. And it's just, honestly, I have a lot of compassion. I went through those kinds of stages myself, so I know exactly what that's like. You can lash out at people, you can be taking things, you can say really, really awful things. So, like I said, it's not a judgment. It's just people who are at a different position, you know, in their path. It's like nobody's better than each other, you know what I mean? Everybody's got a different journey. And some people, honestly, some people have a tougher one. So, you know, bless them and hope that they find what they want, you know, pray for them. So this other person at work, I'm going to flip again. And see what I get. I don't typically do reversals. This is actually kind of like the first time I've really done them, so I'm kind of interested. It's helping me kind of get some better messages actually so far, so I'm liking it. I know you guys are probably thinking, why do you use the runes? I'm kind of like giving them a break right now. I've been getting some messages that I need to spend some more personal time with them before I bring them back in, but I do like having them here for company, because I don't know if you've ever looked up making runes. They're very, very precious and very personal to me, so I like taking them around so I can have their energy with me too. Okay, so this other person at work. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna move the camera real quick. Okay. So right now the messages I'm getting from this card for you about this person is to maybe consider that this person at work, you're having a connection with them, you feel this attraction. It must be something meaningful. I don't want to say that it's not meaningful. And in fact, I feel like what this is I think the message is saying, if you feel this connection with this person, I feel like there's more to this relationship in terms of pursuing a friendship first, in a very non-romantic way. So far the messages are saying that this is more like expand your horizons. The mouse is very, very skilled at obviously like what's right in front of it. It's got big eyes. It's a prey, so obviously they always have big eyes. Any kind of prey animal has big old eyes, because they need to be able to see very, very clearly. And the mouse has got a great sense of smell. Obviously too, it's very sensitive to what's going on in the surroundings. But it's reversed, so it's telling me maybe right now you are better off kind of expanding and looking, kind of expanding your scope, looking further away than at work. And so I feel like it's best to, if you are interested in this person, for now, to best just pursue it as in terms of friendship. It's saying that this might be a better time to actually look into yourself as to why this person is attractive to you, why this person has a deep connection with you. Consider friendship with this person and friendship with yourself, and this will really help, because I feel like something about this person suggests issues with loyalty. Maybe this person isn't really ready for a commitment, or at least the kind of commitment that you might be looking for. So I'm getting an overall message that this is a better time for you now that you're separating from this other person, or at least that's what the cards are saying. This other person that you're in a relationship with that is really dependent on you, you're going to be probably dealing with this for some time. It might be best to really be kind of like buddy-buddy with this person at work. I know it may be difficult for you because of the feelings that are coming up, but it's possible sometimes that these connections that we have with people are more about the fact that you might be a soul family. Maybe this person really reminds you and makes you feel comfortable with yourself. And that feeling can sometimes, I don't want to say maybe you're being confused, I don't want to accuse you of that, but the messages here are saying this person is like soul family, and to kind of wait on that, pursuing that in a romantic sense, because something else is going on here, something else needs to be worked out, and that this person isn't ready for like the kind of commitment that you're looking for. and that maybe more time developing this as a friendship and a very, I'm not sure if the word is right this way, but maybe like more of like a platonic way for now. And that way you can really kind of put up that safety as you're dealing with these more personal issues, like with this other relationship. And that way it won't be so, kind of like getting pulled a bunch of different ways. So that being said, I feel like these messages are pretty clear. But I'm going to pull one more card here just to tie up. I don't care whether or not it's reversed. I'm going to use it as an encouragement, just in general. There we go. So, the elk, let's see. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so elk are really highly regarded as very strong and able to endure. Like, they're able to go long distances. It's crazy. They can run. I feel like the message here is talking about stamina. This is maybe a time for you to practice this kind of stamina in your life, it's saying. I would suggest that this card is trying to tell you that there's something that is worth waiting for, that you have something coming to you, but you may need to wait some time. And so while it may feel difficult being on your own for some extended period of time, especially with this connection that you feel with your coworker, it's generally saying that this is worth waiting for. Have some stamina, build endurance. You have it in you to make it. Don't worry about that. And not only that, it's also saying to seek the company of your own gender for sisterhood or brotherhood. And in general, this company will really give you strength to make it through. It will really remind you of why you have been looking for this partner. Because when you spend time with your own gender, you get to see the variety, the mosaic, so to speak, of energies. I don't know if you lean harder on what they call feminine energy, or if you lean harder on what they call masculine energy. But overall, this big spectrum, this big melting pot of energies, when you surround yourself with your own gender, or whatever you prefer to be known as gender-wise, it's going to really help you, I guess you could say, see the options. It's kind of like when you go traveling. When you go traveling, you see tons of different places, you see tons of different people. Even if you don't speak the language, you're just like, wow, everything's just different. Sorry about that. I ran out of storage real quick. I had to clear some stuff. Like I was saying, travel is a way of showing you what different lifestyles are like, what different options are like. See how other people deal with their energy. That company and that comfort of not worrying about the romantic connection allows you to really expand into yourself and to really recognize what your strengths and what you have to offer with your energies, and to see maybe even more stories and to hear about what other relationships have been like with other types of energies, and to really understand what makes you you, what makes you unique. And you can really choose and change if you want to. If you want to attract a really, really great person, just really get into, maybe find somebody that you consider to be a role model, so to speak, for who you think would be your twin flame, so to speak. And then really try and understand maybe what makes them attractive to you. Look into what you think that person might be attracted to, and try and think if you're willing and able to grow into that kind of a person, so that you can find happiness that way. And it really depends. If you, some people find happiness through connection in a long-term relationship. Some people don't. It's really up to you. But overall, the message here is actually kind of a tough one, so I'm kind of sorry. But it does say you may be on your own for a little while longer. It is going to be requiring a little extra stamina from you, but it's going to definitely be worth it. You're going to be able to, the messages in general are saying you're going to really be able to find somebody who is absolutely breathtakingly awesome and perfect for you. So that's it. So thank you very much.